Hi guys, I'm Manu Chitra. I'm working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So in this video, I'm going to discuss or say something about Scrum. What is Scrum? Scrum is a methodology which is used to develop a software. So whether the Scrum is used in anywhere else in the real time, yes, of course, like Google, Yahoo, IBM, Nokia, Microsoft, all those industries are using the Scrum methodology to develop their products. So, what type of applications or products can be developed with the help of Scrum methodology? Lots and lots of applications are available, like commercial softwares, contract based development softwares, video game development softwares, financial applications, mobile phones, handheld devices, etc. You can use this methodology to develop all these types of softwares. In addition, I have stated only a limited one, and we will start from the where this Scrum starts from. So we will start from the initial origin of Scrum. So Hirotaka and Nonaka were stated the Scrum in their statement. Initially, 1986, they have stated a statement. So, a flexible, holistic product development strategy where a development team works as a unit to reach a common goal as opposed to the traditional sequential approach. So, here they have stated that so there should be an approach. So, you have to create, there should be an approach. It should be very flexible, even there is a new changes. When there is a changes are being identified and should be able to adapt for the new changes. Next, after that, in 1990s, Ken Schwaber has framed a method, framed a sequence of steps or method, and then he used that methodology for the development in his company. So he named it as called as Scrum methodology. So he is the person have introduced the word called Scrum. In 2001, he wrote the book called Agile Software Development with Scrum. So, what is Scrum? So, whenever you are developing a product, the complex products or whatever the product we are developing, you have to follow a certain Scrum values. What is Scrum value? There are 5 Scrum values are there. So first one is your courage. What is first one is your courage? Even the project is very complex in nature, the Scrum team members are supposed or able to think in the right way and able to solve the problem in an efficient manner. This is what is courage. Second one is focus. In order to solve the problem, you have a proper focus on your uh, area. You have to understand the problem and then you have to act it accordingly. Next one is your commitment. What is commitment? Once the focus is a proper way, and then you can be able to commit, you can be able to success in your project, you can be able to achieve the goal. And next one is your respect. What is respect? Here the Scrum team members, there is no senior or junior problem. So everyone will have a equal respect. So they have to respect others decision also. That is what is respect. And then the openness. So it is a very new thing called openness. So what is openness? Both the customer and the developer will communicate each other. That is, from the starting to the end of the development process, the customer will travel from the start to end of software development process. This is what is openness. There won't be any hide and seek between the client and then the developer. It will be open to both of them. So they have to accept in if there is any financial problem, that has to be handled, and it should be informed to the business people also. And so whatever the technical problems, that can be informed to, so that will be informed, or communication has to be done between the client as well as the business people as well as the developer. So this is what is your thing. So I already told you that Scrum is the Agile methodology. So what is Agile methodology? Agile methodology is entirely different from the traditional methodology like waterfall model, spiral, all those models. So it is entirely different from. So how it is different from? In traditional methodology, the client can see their product only at the end of the software development process. Here in Agile manifesto, it is not like this. The customer collaboration will be done. So that is already I told you that the customer will traverse from the starting of the initiation of the project to the end of the project. The customer will also travel along with the developer, and then even if there is any changes has been occurred, it should be able to change even if it is late, even if it is at the end of the development process, you are supposed to change it. And next one is your traditional approach, you are not supposed to change the requirement. The required requirements changes cannot be done in the traditional methodology. So this is what is your Agile manifesto. Customer collaboration, responding to the changes, and working software is very very necessary. Working software is necessary even though if you're not having a documentation or anything else. The proper working software is the only progress measure will be able to identify the quality of the product. Next one is Agile principles. When you are saying that those things with the comprises of 12 principles. So obviously the first principle is customer satisfaction, and second one is modification requirement modification can be done even at the late of the development process. And then the third one is your working software delivery of working software. And then working software, it is the only measure, I have told you that it's a only measure progress of your product. And then the next one is your among the team members there should not be any conflict. And then next one is your business people, and then the developers has to communicate daily, in a daily basis they have to communicate it. And then this communication must be done in face to face conversation. And then each one will have a rights, each one will have a proper rights to take their decision, to take the decision, or to say their opinion. And next one is your each team member, the Scrum team members must be, that is Agile team members must be very technically advanced person, technically skilled person. And then next one principle is very very simple. So the developing process has to be very simple. And then self-organizing teams. What are self-organizing teams? So all this team which we are framing will be done by themselves. In that the team members will be of collaborative like in the sense in a team there will be a programmer, there will be a tester, there will be an analyzer, designer, etc. So like all the collaborative types of members will be there in the self-organizing team. And then if there is any changes, you are ready to change, like accept that changes. So now we are going to get into the Scrum process. So what is Scrum? Scrum is a methodology. So in this, all these 12 principles, Agile principles, will be followed within this 4 phases. So there are 4 phases in the Scrum: sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective. What is sprint is nothing but a set of activities that the entire of the Scrum projects are done with the help of, or can be classified into set of series of sprints. Okay, series of sprints. Once all the sprints have been identified, so in each sprint we'll have a Scrum master, product owner, and then the development team will be there. Each for each activity, each sprint, you'll have 3 teams: Scrum Master, Product Owner, and team members. And then once all the set of activities are identified and each activities are splitted into sprints, set of sprints, and then you have to plan which sprint has to be executed first, which sprint has to start first, and which will be the next, and which will be the next. That will be decided by the product owner. So that is the product backlog. What is product backlog? Is a list of features that you are going to implement will be in the product backlog. So based on that, sprint will be planned accordingly. Sprint 1 will be executed, will be done first, and then sprint 2 will be done second, sprint 3, sprint 4, likewise we had. And then after the sprint is planned, you have to go for the daily scrum meeting. Daily scrum meeting in the sense the business people and the developer will communicate with each other in order to discuss among there is any changes. Is there any changes or there? So if there is any changes, then you can go for the sprint backlog. So if suppose some like the product owner as the team members or the scrum master to develop the scrum 3 instead of scrum 2, so it can be possible, it is possible. So you have to start, so you have to prioritize, once again you have to prioritize the scrum sprint backlog. Once everything is done, then at the end of it you have to go for the sprint review. If there is any changes, then you have to go for the changes. So in this sprint review, the scrum master, product owner, development team, stakeholders, and then those who are involved in the project, everyone will be involved in this meeting. In the daily scrum meeting, only scrum master, product owner, development team will meet. So here only daily 15 minutes they will spend for that, and they can discuss what to do. And in sprint review meeting, they will go for what is your problem, so what you have done, whether it is working or not. So like what. So next one is your sprint retrospective. This is the last phase of sprint scrum. So retrospective is which is used to identify that after every sprint you have to take a look of it, which is working, which is not working, which is working and which is not working. So that will be identified in the sprint retrospective. In after that you have to continue. Maybe the continuation of sprint 1 will be dependent on sprint 2, so that there may be a working pro software and may not be a working software. So you have to consider the next sprint also. So in the sprint retrospective also, you are going to have the same scrum master, product owner, development team, and then the stakeholders, other customers. So you have to decide it. So this is what is scrum. So next one is we'll start see the same thing in slide by slide. So what is sprint? Sprint is a scrum project which are progress in a series of sprints. Sprint by sprint you are going to do it. Each sprint will have a 2 to 4 weeks of or a month. And then so in order to have a constant thing, you can have a constant period of time for each sprint, so that it is easy to track it. If it takes minimum time, so no problem. If it is maximum time, try to finish within that period of time. And then each sprint will be doing the same set of SDLC, like designing, coding, testing during the sprint also. So whenever you are designing the sprint, you have to decide the proper timing. So timing of change, which during this development of the sprint you are not supposed to go for any changes. Only after the sprint or before the sprint only you are able to change the you are able to change it. So during the sprint duration you are not supposed to change anything in your progress. And next one is scrum framework. What is scrum framework? There is a 3 things in a scrum framework: scrum roles, scrum activities, and scrum artifacts. What is scrum roles? So I already told you that what is scrum roles. Scrum roles means you have a sprint. Inside the sprint we have product owner, scrum master, team members. So what is product owner? Product owner will define the features. What are all the features that will be done, and they also take a decision and schedule the decision. If there is a financial goal, that will also be achieved only by the product owner. And then you have to give the priority, that is product backlog will be prioritized by the product owner, not by the developers. That will be done only by the product owner. And next one is, even if there is any features has to be adjusted or you have to be added or it can be removed from the existing one, then that can be done by this product owner. So if the work which is done by the team members will satisfy the product owner or not, that is acceptable or not, reject, that will be done only by the product owner. The next one is scrum master. Scrum master is a person, he has to use the values, that is all the values: courage, focus, courage, focus, commitment, respect, and openness. All those things that can be achieved by the Scrum Master. See, he is the wall of their team. If there is any external interference can become, that can be that can be covered. That is, the entire team will be covered by the Scrum Master, so that no one can interfere with their progress. And similarly, the Scrum Master is responsible for their best performance, and they have to describe each and every time. They have to describe their roles and what is their functions, and that should be tracked. That is what is Scrum Master's purpose. Next one is team. Each team will have a 5 to 9 people, and it's already I told you that it is a cross-functional, and programmer, tester, experienced developer, designer, every will be there, and each member should be a full-time employee. And here the teams are self-organizing. I already told you that, and each team that is each the member in the team should be a technically skilled person. So it is very important. Next one is scrum ceremonies. That is what activities. So there are 5 activities. Product backlog refinement meeting. If there is new feature has been added, then the priority will be changed. For example, in your constructing on a product, on any project, when you are doing any product implementation, and then there is new requirement, it is essential and it is very very important, and the priority will be for this new feature will be high. So the entire sprint product backlog will be get refinement. That is what is product backlog refinement meeting. Next one is sprint planning meeting. We have seen that everything already. So what is sprint planning meeting? So you have to select an items from the product backlog, and you have to do start implementation. Okay, which tasks are which tasks are going to do, and what is the estimation, and how you are going to do, is there any change will come or not. All those things you have to ensure that before the while sprint planning meeting. That will be discussed in the sprint planning meeting. And next one is daily scrum meeting. What is daily scrum meeting? So daily the customer, the business people, and the developer will discuss for 15 minutes. Here there is no problem solving cannot be done in this daily scrum meeting. So if the maximum the daily scrum meeting, if it is necessary, you can keep your daily scrum meeting, else you just avoid the daily scrum meeting. If it is necessary, you can go for it. Yeah, unnecessary means just avoid those scrum meetings, so that you can reduce the you can extend your working time. And next one is your sprint review meeting. What is sprint review meeting? Sprint review meeting in the sense, here you are going to define that what is the new feature you are going to here, or you are going to discuss that what items that is accomplished during the sprint, what activity you are accomplished during the sprint, and what is the new feature, and what is your architecture. So here there is 2 hour preparation time will be given for the team members, so that everyone can ask the question, and then they can respond to it. There is no slides or proper formal meeting. It will be an informal meeting. And then here everyone, like stakeholder, scrum master, team members, everyone will get involved in this in order to review the product. And next one is a sprint retrospective meeting. So sprint retrospective meeting, it will be done after the sprint. Every sprint, after the completion of every sprint, you are going with the periodically checking that whether which activity is working and which is not working, what is working and what is not working. You have to identify it, and for that you are going to spend a minimum of 30 minutes. And then here also the same, scrum master, and then product owner, team member, other customers will also will be involved in the sprint retrospective meeting. So here you have to identify that what is, when you have to start the next sprint, when to stop the next sprint, when to stop this current sprint, and continuing the, whether you need to continue or stop it. So this is what is a sprint retrospective meeting. So here sprint planning, so the same thing we have done it. What is, who will be in the sprint planning? So I already told you that team members, scrum team members, and scrum master, and then product owner. And then what is the goal? Priority, that is product backlog in backlog items, that will be the highest priority. That will be which items has to be selected from the BPI, that will be identified in the sprint planning meeting. And what will be, so know what will be worked on, so under which technology, or what you are going to do, and whether you have the enough knowledge to do the to start the working. So that is what is a sprint backlog. And next, this is what is your sprint that is scrum activities. First one is sprint planning. So sprint planning will be done with the help of sprint backlog and product backlog. Once product backlog has done, what you are going to do is that you have to go for the daily scrum meeting. Every 24 hours you have to go for this daily scrum meeting. So in that meeting you have to go for the, it is the first step. After the sprint planning, you have to go for the daily scrum meeting. And once the daily scrum meeting is over, you have to go for the sprint review. Sprint review will be done with the help of customer, other stakeholders, of all the stakeholders. And then you have to go for the last step of your thing is that sprint retrospective. So this is what is your scrum activities. Next one is scrum artifacts. So there are three things we have seen, that one is product backlog and sprint backlog and product increment. So what is product backlog? A list of items will be identified and will be stored, that is called as your product backlog. So here each will be get prioritized by the product owner, and then if there is any changes in the sprint, the priority will also be reprioritized, and priorities also will be changed. And then sprint backlog means each sprint will have a certain thing. So each process will be certain thing. So this is the sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3. So each you can, for each and every sprint, what is the estimation time, or at what time they can complete their product, that will be designed in the sprint backlog. Estimated work remaining is updated daily, and then the team members can add or delete or change in the sprint backlog. Sprint backlog can be from the sprint backlog, the team members is can take any sprint for working. And if the sprint is unclear, the work is unclear, then the sprint backlog items, and then the larger amount of time, and break it down later. So that is if there is any confusion with that, will be kept for the later purpose. And then update the remaining work, that is the estimated time, and then the how much effort, how much time we have spent for developing the proper, how much percent of a product has completed still now, and how much remaining are there, that will be updated daily basis, that is sprint backlog. And that's all the about the scrum meeting. I think you have got some basic idea on scrum methodology. Thank you.